Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to the November 16th Public Council meeting for the town of Conception Bay South. It's great to be back here, and we're going to start right in with the agenda this evening. So the first thing out the gate is adoption of the meeting agenda for November 16th, 2021.
So moved.
Moved by Councillor Tilley, second by Councillor Butler. Adoption of the meeting minutes of November 2nd, 2021. Moved by Councillor Connor, seconded by Councillor Barrett. Business arising from the previous minutes, usually covered through anything that's happening here today or in other minutes. If nobody has anything, we'll move right on to visitors, presentations, and petitions. And folks, tonight we have a special presentation took place here in the council chamber earlier today. Simon McGuinness with the Quilts of Valor made a special presentation to a veteran who is well known here in our community for his efforts and especially most recently with the Monument of Honor and as well as a veteran. And the Quilts of Valor is a special presentation made to veterans. And I'm going to turn it over now to the presentation, and you can watch that, and we'll be back when the presentation is over.
Well, good evening, Council, and thank you, Mayor Brent, for the invite tonight. It gives me great pleasure and honor to come and be amongst you tonight and do this wonderful presentation. My name is Simon McGuinness. I'm a presenter and one of the regional reps for Quilts of Valor Canada. Quilts of Valor Canada actually began in Edmonton from a lady that made some quilts for 3 veterans that came back from Afghanistan. At the time that she made the quilts, the first part of the soldiers were returning from Afghanistan, and she went to the hospital and met these 3 gentlemen, and she wanted to do something to thank them for their sacrifice to the country. So she made these quilts, and that's what I'm here for. One of our residents, Mr. Wayne Miller, he is the recipient of a quilt. I myself am a recipient. I got my quilt in 2019. And let me tell you, these quilts are simply amazing, and it gives me great pleasure tonight to join you as a council and join you, Wayne. Wayne and I crossed paths when I first posted here in Newfoundland in 2004. I have many fond memories of Wayne, and so it gives me great pleasure and honor to be able to do this. Every time I present a quilt, I'm just overcome by emotion because there's so much heartfelt gratitude behind these quilts, and to say thank you to people like Wayne and so many other deserving veterans around our country, to say thank you for what you've done. That's what brings us here tonight. So this is the quilt that I'm going to present to Wayne. It says, Quilt of Valor, handmade with love, respect, and gratitude for your sacrifice to Canada. May the hug stitched in this quilt give you comfort, strength, and love. And then it says it in French, and it says, presented to Wayne Miller, 16 November 2021, and it was made by Chantal Follett. Wayne's quilt was actually made here in Newfoundland. These quilts are made all over Canada, and it just happens that Wayne's comes from Grand Bank. So at this point, I'm going to put the quilt down. I'm going to put my mask back on. And now we get to see the real piece behind the quilt. These are all hand stitched, and the signature. The signature thing behind Quilts of Valor is that as a presenter and as a regional rep, I get the opportunity to say thank you to the deserving veteran and wrap them in their quilt. And this is a virtual way for Canada to say thank you, and we appreciate your service and dedication to your country for your time in the forces. So now it gives me great pleasure to be able to wrap Wayne in his quilt. And this is just a simple way to say thank you for your service.
You're welcome. Yeah,
tremendous. Thank you very much. I've done a lot of things in my career, met a lot of people, but nobody ever wrapped me up in a blanket before, so it's humbling and it's an honor to say thank you very much for you presenting this to me and for the lady that made it and for the project. It's outstanding. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you very much, Wayne.
Thank you.
I want to thank Wayne because for me, when I hear the name Wayne Miller, I specifically think of our war memorial and the dedication that he played in making such a beautiful war memorial, and for your effort that you continue to do in our community to advocate for veterans. I want to thank you and welcome you to the Quilt of Valor Club now.
It's an honor. I assure you, it's an honor.
Well, a very special presentation here in the chamber earlier today, and we were very pleased to be able to accommodate the Quilts of Valor in their presentation to Wayne Miller. Congratulations again to Wayne. Barring no other petitions or presentations, we will move along to new business. And we're going to start this evening, new business, with Deputy Mayor Goss. Deputy Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. I just want to take a minute to thank everyone who participated in our online budget consultation survey. It's very helpful for us moving forward. We're reviewing all comments and suggestions and working together collectively to bring forward the 2022 budget in the next couple of weeks. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Councillor Hillier.
Your Worship, just want to give a shout out to Theatre CBS, who will be kicking off a new show at Legion on December 3rd to the 5th. They're doing the Christmas classic, A Wonderful Life, and tickets are available from eventbrite.com. Encourage residents to get out and take part in the shows. Really nice opportunity to be able to get out and do these things, given what we've been through over the last almost 2 years now, and congratulate this group and the work they've done, and wish them luck on certainly this presentation and any future endeavours that they take up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Hillier. Not to put you on the spot, but they are online asking people what their favorite quote from It's a Wonderful Life is. Do you have one yourself?
I'm saving mine for.
Okay, so stay tuned. Stay tuned on Facebook or wherever. Councillor Connors.
Just a couple of things there. I know you're probably going to talk about this later on, but just wanted to say thank you to our staff and to the Growlers for the past few games. I was up and got to enjoy a few of the games, and it was a great addition to our town. And so I just wanted to say thank you especially to the staff, because for something that was dropped in their laps for a very short period of time, we put it off very professionally, and it certainly shows that we can handle an event like this. The other thing that I just wanted to mention was a business in our community. Ocean Quest has been nominated for a Canadian Tourism Association Award. They're nominated for the Via Rail Canadian Sustainable Tourism Award. And that award will be given out, I think, in early December, but they are one of 3 finalists from across Canada.
Thank you, Councillor Connors. A great honour for Ocean Quest, a local company, of course. Councillor Hardy.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Paul Connors. A shout out to the Tim Hortons, Shibboleth Group of Companies. Right now, the Tim Hortons franchises, they're doing a holiday smile cookie where all 100% of the proceeds are going to local charities and groups. So Shibboleth Group of Companies located here in Conception Bay South. Their charities that they have chosen is the CBS Paradise Food Bank and the Newfoundland Labrador Down Syndrome Society. So that's 2 really good groups that are certainly very appreciative. That's going to be coming their way. And another thing that the Shibboleth Group of Companies has done for us as well is the Giver on the River. They certainly provide all the coffee and some of the snacks after I guess, our residents complete that Give Around the River. So just want to put a shout out there. And that is from November 22nd to the 28th. All the proceeds would go to the local charities. Thank you.
Good cookies and a good charity, too. Councillor Barrett.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor there. Just two quick things from me this evening. One, I just want to remind residents of the curbside pickup for leaves ongoing this week, next week on your recycling day, paper yard bags, and so just put them on the curb during your regular recycling. And the second thing I wanted to mention as well, and perhaps Councillor Moores might have mentioned this or bring it up, but we know a lot of residents have been eager in anticipation of our recreation and cultural plan, and public engagement is scheduled for November 25th from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Legion. And so certainly we're interested in hearing your perspectives on those things, and if you can, by all means, try to make it out for that. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Barrett. Councillor Morris.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. I just want to point out the Skills Canada Virtual Intermediate Challenge that happened a couple weeks ago within our schools, and we have some outstanding kids, I guess, here in CBS who placed in multiple divisions, and I just wanted to read out a couple of them. In Bacon, we had bronze, Jillian Ford and Aaron Newman from Villanova Junior High. The Coding Challenge, silver, we had Aaron Bursey from Villanova Junior High. Bronze, we had Oliver Mercer from Villanova Junior High. Graphic design, we won gold and silver from Villanova Junior High with Isabel Quinton and Cole Welshman. IT network systems, we had placed in all three. Villanova Junior High was gold, Spencer Walsh. Silver was Langdon Cribb, Holy Spirit High. Bronze was Benjamin Diamond, Holy Spirit High. The job skill demonstration, bronze from Villanova Junior High was Griffin Vallis. The Junior Chef Challenge was gold, Laura Parsons and Naomi Barrett from Villanova Junior High. Public speaking, we also placed gold at Holy Spirit High with Julia Bennett. The pitch, silver, Zachary Green and Charlie Ball from Villanova Junior High. And workplace safety was a gold from Jonathan Party, Villanova Junior High, which they placed overall second was Villanova Junior High. So I think that's a huge accomplishment for the kids here in CBS, and I think it's a great experience too to be involved with Skills Canada Challenge. So just want to congratulate all those involved.
Thank you, Councillor Morris. Yeah, the Skills Canada challenges are great skill sets for our young people, and a lot of them do some really fantastic work and learn their capabilities when they're challenged like that. So it's fantastic. Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. Councillor Barrett mentioned the Recreational and Cultural Master Plan public consultations for November 25th. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to attend, and I'm really disappointed I'm going to miss it. So I'm planning on registering to watch it online. I'm really looking forward to hearing what residents have to say and their input, and it'll be very important to the town going forward over the next few years. New Year's Eve at Manuels River. So if you want to stay in CBS and ring in the new year, but feel like you're in Hollywood, Manuels River has you covered. They are hosting a Hollywood night, New Year's Eve dinner and dance, an evening of glitz and glam. Dress in your red carpet best and enjoy an elegant four-course menu prepared by Executive Chef Mike Wozni, and dance into the new year with music by the Dana Parsons Project. Tickets are available online at manuelsriver.ca. And as Councillor Hillier mentioned, Theatre CBS are having their inaugural program, It's a Wonderful Life, my most favorite actor, Jimmy Stewart, in the movie. December 3rd to the 5th, as you mentioned, and I've got my tickets already, so I'm really looking forward to seeing this. And that's all for now, Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Do you have a favorite quote from It's a Wonderful Life? Okay. Every time you hear a bell ring, an angel gets its wings. How about that one? There, I'll throw one in for you. Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm not going to mention It's a Wonderful Life because I got no favorite quotes. I just want to piggyback on Councillor Connor's comments on the Growlers last couple of weekends. Kudos to everyone involved. There's some significant donation money coming back to our user groups, and of course I'd be remiss if we didn't make a special mention to the actual user groups who are affected, the minor hockey groups, the skating groups, even our junior senior hockey teams. Without the cooperation of those individual organizations, this wouldn't have been possible. So I'd just like to give a good shout out to those guys.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. I guess it falls to me to finish up now, but first of all, I'd like to, I guess, go on the coattails of the Quilts of Valor by thanking the Legion for putting off a wonderful Remembrance Day ceremony. The weather forced them inside, but that didn't dampen the event. It's very important that we never forget the sacrifices that others have made and continue to make to ensure our freedom. And again, this year, the Legion paid honorable tribute to our veterans, and I was very honored to be able to lay a wreath on behalf of the town of Conception Bay South. I want to congratulate everybody that was involved in the Giver on the River last Sunday morning. I think almost 300 participants came out. The weather was actually probably one of the nicest Sunday mornings I've been at the finish line to help hand out medals, and this year joined by one of the key sponsors, Calvin Randall. Of course, Tim Hortons were on site as well, and it was a great event for everybody there. So thankfully that got off this year. It was canceled earlier, and the further you push stuff back, you never know, but the weather has been fantastic. I also want to touch upon the Newfoundland Growlers just for a moment. It's been an exciting couple of weeks here in CBS as we've been able to play host to professional hockey right here in our arena. The Growlers have been our guests, and they've been great partners to deal with during this time, and hats off to them. We're very pleased as well that on each game day, tickets became available to local hockey fans, as well as the season ticket holders that were coming out to our community to enjoy the games. And the Growlers have, as promised, reached into their revenue sources and have presented us with a check of $15,000. And of course, that comes as part of the agreement right off that they would help the user groups that were affected over the past 2 weekends. Of course, our CBS Skating Club, our minor hockey, our Junior Renegades, and our Senior Blues. And as well, the opportunity for our community groups to make some money just before Christmas to help with their plans and their projects. Our CBS Lions Club, Kiwanis Kinsman, and our Rotary Club all took part in ticket sales down at these games, and were able to be involved in a percentage of the sales, which is fantastic for them. And of course, the town of CBS has done okay with these games as well. So there's just for everyone's information, there's no cost to taxpayers when it comes to that. And of course, we were really pleased this past Saturday night at the game that we gathered, I believe, the almost 1,000 pounds in food for our CBS Paradise Food Bank. And I'd like to thank all the Growlers fans attending for making that food drive a success. And it's just wonderful that so many groups and organizations and, of course, citizens here in our town benefited from this endeavor over the past couple of weeks. And beyond that, I just want to say, I hope that some of our local businesses have been able to see, if not a big boost, some little boost at all, but, us being able to do something like this to raise the profile of our community, to showcase it as a great place to do business and a great place to live and to raise a family, I believe is a fantastic a side effect from having the Growlers out playing some hockey. And they won 4 of the 6 games as well. And before I finish, and as some of the other councillors have noted, the town staff here pulling this together in 6 days and then being able to do it twice in a row have been incredible. And I don't like to mention names, but I have to throw a shout out to our acting rec director, John Whalen, and our arena manager, Steve Bishop, and all of their staff for being able to do such a wonderful job. And a special shout out to the staff in the canteen down at the arena. I think they slung more French fries in 6 days, and maybe a record. I don't know. Maybe we should have had Guinness out to have a look at it. But they worked long hours and on their feet the whole time, and it was fantastic. And I know there were some waits, but the hot fries at the end of the wait were worth it, I can guarantee you. And just finally, as our deputy mayor mentioned off the top, we've have been hard at work in budget talks over the past, almost since right out the gate from the election. you're faced with a budget, and it's one of the reasons I think that a municipal election was much more suited for spring than it is for fall, because you come out at the election and you're thrown right into the budget process. But here we are, and this council's up to the challenge. And I say that with the idea that it is a challenge, and it's a challenge this year, especially as, you know, everybody has seen the cost of everything go up. It's no different for a municipality. We face increased costs, everything from fuel to supplies to anything that we want to build, you know, and it means we're faced with more challenges. And of course, and I don't mind saying this, not to pick on any one group, but you know, we buy our water from the city of St. John's, and the cost of that has gone up just about every year for the past 5 or 6 years, yet we've been able to hold the line on those fees. And I'm not sure how long that can last, but you know, we're looking at pretty well everything. And we're also looking internally as well, where some of the things that we may have wanted to do, well, maybe we might have to put them off to make sure that we're giving the best budget and I guess the most sustainable approach to how we manage our town over the next year. And when we do a budget for a year, we're not just looking at this year, we're looking at where we're going in the following years as well. So it's an important process, it's a difficult process, but this council is up to the challenge, and the staff here have been fantastic in support and answering the questions. And so I hope to have a date for a budget, or our town helps to have a date for a budget very, very soon. But you know, as always, we like to get out the gate as early as we can, and we'll do that. Now, we've got some, I can't say too much, but I know a lot of people have been asking about the Christmas parade, and I was kind of expecting somebody around council to mention it earlier, but I'm gonna mention it now, so it's not. So the town of CBS is actively working to put off a Christmas parade this year. We are just waiting on one document from the province, and that is to sign off on the traffic plan, the road plan for Route 60. And once we have that in hand, and I've been given some information late this afternoon that indicates to me that we're going to have that in our hands tomorrow. And once that happens, we are going to announce the details of the Santa Claus parade for this year. And we have a tentative date, December 11th. I'm saying it out loud, folks. So the Santa Claus parade in Conception Bay South, providing that document is with us soon, is going to be December 11th. So on that happy note, I'm going to turn everything back to the agenda. I just got to figure out how to open my machine here and find it. And there it is. So from Santa Claus Parade to Planning and Development Committee, Councillor Hillier.
Excuse me, Chair Hillier, before you start, I'm in conflict of interest on the first item for 89 Middlebite Road. Under the conflict of interest guidelines, I have a family relative. While she doesn't live on Middlebite Road, this particular property backs onto Monarch Place, and that person lives in that area, so I have to declare a conflict.
Yes, Your Worship, these are recommendations brought forward from our November 9th, 2021 committee meeting. Number 1, 89 Middlebite Road. Recommendation, be it so resolved that in accordance with Council's discretionary authority, application number 2021-293 received on October 13th, 2021, seeking approval of an extension to the existing single dwelling at 89 Middlebite Road be refused, given that the extension will be closer to the street line than is permitted within the town. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hardy. Any discussion?
Yes, Your Worship, we looked at this property from 2 points of view, from Middlebite Road and also from the flanking street, and in both cases an extension would have put us too close to the existing roads.
All in favour?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. Let's bring Councillor Tilley back into the room. Okay, Councillor Hillier.
Yes, Your Worship. Number 2, 650 Conception Bay Highway. Recommendation, be it so resolved that in accordance with Council's discretionary authority, application 975 received on October 8th, 2021 for an accessory building with a lot coverage of approximately 75 square meters at 650 Conception Bay Highway be approved on condition that no business is permitted to operate from the accessory building unless approved by the town. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Barrett. Discussion. No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 3, 2628 Dawes Place. Recommendation, be it so resolved that in accordance with Council's discretionary authority, application 985 received on October 12th, 2021 for an accessory building with a lot coverage of approximately 149 square meters at 26 to 28 Dawes Place be approved. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Connors. Discussion? No discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
Number 4, 22 Indian Pond Drive. Be it so resolved that in accordance with Council's discretionary authority, application 1011 received on October 20th, 2021 for an accessory building with a lot coverage of approximately 42.6 square meters at 22 Indian Pond Drive be approved. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Connors. Discussion. That's 42.6 meters squared, yeah. The 42,000 would have been a bit tad big, I suppose, but all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And Your Worship, we've got a blank statement. I'm going to step out as I'm in conflict here. I'm part of an organisation that is adjacent to a piece of property referenced in this in these minutes, and Councillor Connors is going to take the chair.
Okay.
Your Worship, I also have to step outside as I am in conflict. There was a item in discussion by the Planning Committee that I have declared a conflict of interest in that falls under this report as well.
Okay. I think in the past, have we broken these out for a conflict? We have, okay, so that's something we may want to look at going forward, just in case, so that we don't have people leaving the room for more than they need to. It's always better to have more voices around the table. Councillor Connors, carry on.
Thank you, Your Worship. Planning and Development Committee meeting report. Recommendation, be it so resolved that the decisions and recommendations made at the Planning and Development Committee meeting on November 9, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Barrett. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried. We can bring the Deputy Mayor and Councillor Hillier back into the room. Okay, recommendations of the Engineering and Public Works Committee, Councillor Tilley.
Thank you, Your Worship. The following are the recommendations coming from our Engineering and Public Works Committee meeting of November 9, 2021. First one is the wastewater treatment plant shoreline stabilization, approval toward consulting services ratification. The shoreline adjacent to the town's sanitary sewer treatment plant has eroded over the last several years. With Snowmageddon in 2020 and the storm surge in 2021 has accelerated erosion in this particular area. The town's sanitary sewer and treatment plant infrastructure are adjacent to this eroded shoreline, making it a priority for this council to prevent further erosion and protect our infrastructure. Our preliminary review estimates that the project will cost somewhere in the vicinity of $750,000. We anticipate this work will commence late winter, early spring, following all applicable permit approvals. So the recommendation, be it so resolved that approval be given to award consulting services to AFN Engineering Inc. for the wastewater treatment plant shoreline stabilization sanitary sewer protection at a quoted price of $30,500 excluding HST, funds to be taken from the capital project account. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Seconder, Councillor Butler. Discussion. I think Councillor Tilley covered it off, so all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And the next two have to do with disposal of town assets. These vehicles were part of are replaced under our 2021 capital fleet replacement program. The backhoe was a 2007 and 3 GM Sierra pickups from 2010. So the first tender 21-08, disposal of assets, 1 2007 Cat backhoe. Be it so resolved that approval be given to award tender 21-08, disposal of assets, 1 2007 Cat backhoe to Farrell's Excavating Limited at a price of $17,250, including HST. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And number 3 is the tender 21-07, disposal of assets for 3 GM Sierra trucks. Be it so resolved that approval be given to award tender 21-07, disposal of assets 3 GMC Sierra trucks to Des Chafe at a price of $2,418.44, including HST. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Deputy Mayor Goss. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And the next one is the RWIS renewal. In an effort to improve winter control services, Public Works staff integrated a real-time road condition reporting system, the Mini Road Weather Information System, on a trial basis for 2020-2021. The RWIS allows for remote monitoring by senior staff to assist with making decisions to deploy winter control equipment. The approach is fiscally responsible as well as provides the town with specific weather data all year round. Staff advise the features provided such as air and road temperatures, wind speed, dew point, precipitation rate, along with real-time video pictures from the RWIS location, was extremely beneficial last winter and utilized information in the best practice decision making for the winter ice control program. The motion allows for the inclusion for 2021-2022 winter season. However, it was the consensus of the committee to include this service and system as a permanent winter control resource that will be budgeted annually. So be it so resolved that approval be given to continue weather forecasting and the mini RWIS station services from Wood at an annual cost of approximately $21,200, excluding HST. Funds will be taken from the operational account. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Connors. Discussion. I think that there's so much technology around weather these days, and to be able, as a town, to have state-of-the-art equipment, to be able to detect, especially in higher areas with ice and build-up and so forth. It happens so quickly. You could go through, and 10 or 15 minutes later, you could go through an ice, and allowing our staff to have that early warning to know to get the equipment up there as quick as possible is a fantastic safety option for us, and I'm glad the recommendation is going to be annual so that it'll just be part of our regular winter maintenance and or winter monitoring program. So thank you for that. Any other discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Carried.
And number 5 is the recommendation from our blanket recommendation. But before I read that, the implementation of school zones reduced speed limits continues to progress. The town has engaged a traffic consultant to create each of the school zone signage line marking plans, which will be implemented over the coming months. As well, during this meeting, we discussed a supplementary signs policy, which was reviewed by the committee, which will address caution sign requests for children with differing abilities. Comments from the committee are being incorporated, and the policy is expected to be adopted at the next public meeting. As well, our 2022 waste collection calendars have been mailed out. Calendars are also available on the town's website or by contacting the Engineering Public Works Department. And as a councillor, I think one of the councillors mentioned already about a curbside leaf collection program that started today and it goes on to the rest of the week. So we encourage everyone that has any leaves to make sure they're put out on the proper days for collection. So the blanket recommendation, be it so resolved that the recommendation decisions made at the Engineering Public Works Committee meeting of November 9, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hillier. Discussion. I guess fantastic that we're moving forward fairly quickly with the safety signage, the speed limits in school zones, and the other safety signage that we're going going through. It's great that that's on the progress. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded?
And that's it for Public Works.
Thank you, Councillor Tilley. Recommendations of the Recreation and Leisure Services Committee. Chair Councillor Moores.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. I just want to mention a couple of things that we discussed at our meeting. First of all, the Christmas parade, which you mentioned earlier. We're happy to say that we have a tentative date for December 11th, and like you said, we are just waiting on final approval with permits. Also, as a couple of councillors have already mentioned, the Recreation and Cultural Master Plan, which is going to have a consultation on November 25th from 7 to 9 at the Royal Canadian Legion, and pre-registration is required for this, so you can do that by visiting the town's website. Also wanted to mention that the Worsley Park 50 Plus Club, we did have some concerns over the number of people, and that's been addressed, and we have now adjusted to include bubbles within the operational setup to allow for more participants and more ideal table layout. So I think the people in that group will be happy about that. We also had a very successful seniors Halloween social, a Halloween skate, and a mental health and wellness walk, which had around 30 participants. So there's been a lot going on in the recreation department. And with that being said, the recommendation, be it so resolved that the recommendations, decisions made at the Recreation and Leisure Services meeting of November 9th, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Hillier. Discussion?
I just had a question sent to me there a little while ago. For the master plan, for people who view it online, are they going to be able to ask questions, and will they be answered during the presentation?
Now, my anticipation is it's just a viewing from online. Is that correct from whoever's holding that meeting from the staff standpoint? John, I suspect.
Yeah, my understanding from speaking with Neil that there would be a limit of discussion pending time, but there's a possibility that we could have people sending emails and so on, but I'll certainly confirm that with Neil tomorrow morning, Paul.
Yeah, I think it'd be nice to be able to forward questions and so forth, because if we have time at the end, we certainly address them, and some of them may get addressed as the meeting goes on, of course, so you never know. It might be a little redundancy, but it'd be nice to be able to have everyone's questions answered, and I think that there's a note that if we needed to hold another meeting, we would hold another meeting as well, so I think people need to register in advance for the Recreation Master Plan meeting on the November 25th, and there's a portal to do that on our website, and you can access that through any of our social media as well. Okay, Councilor Connors. Any other discussion? All in favor? Contrary minded? Carried. Recommendations of the Financial and Administrative Services Committee Chair, Deputy Mayor Goss.
Thank you, Mayor Bent. As per our committee meetings held on November the 8th, 2021, the following recommendations are being brought forward. We have first item, accounts payable check register. Be it resolved that approval be given to pay accounts payables checks totaling $266,829.08 as per the attached report. So moved.
Do we have a seconder? Councillor Hardy. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried.
Second item are the manual checks. Be it so resolved that approval be given to pay manual checks totaling $452,829.95. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Moores. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried.
The next item pertains to capital invoices, and Your Worship, these are invoices that pertain to engineering fees and our ongoing capital works projects, such as our library, our community park, the 2021 street paving rehab programming. So be it so resolved that approval be given to pay capital invoices totaling $367,380.65 as included. So moved.
Seconder? Councillor Butler. Discussion? lots of work being done there. That's excellent. And I see there's great work going on next door here at the
Sure, it
new
sure
Library
is.
Resource Center today. They had machines out like they were scraping down the top, and they looked like bumper cars, and they were going over it quite quickly. It was good to see. Anyways, thank you for that. Carry on, please.
Okay, next item, tax and other receivables adjustments. Be it so resolved that approval be given to adjust tax and other receivable accounts as follows. LORKE 001, $817.80. CALMI 001, $382.80. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried. Seconder, Councillor Hillier. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Contrary minded?
Next item, Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program application. And be it so resolved that the town make application to the 2022-2023 Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program for projects as outlined in the agenda. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hardy. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried.
The next item, reallocation of funding. So as per our discussion, we had discussed how we would manage our funds going forward and how we would distribute some funding, and so we came up with this recommendation. So be it so resolved that the town requests approval from the Department of Municipal Affairs and Environment to reallocate $750,000 under the current multi-year capital works program from street upgrading and paving to our shoreline stabilization. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Tilley. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried.
So last
Excuse
time.
me.
Sorry.
I have, in the blanket recommendation, I have to declare a conflict because I have a relative that would be involved with one of the decisions that have been made.
Okay. Okay. Deputy Mayor?
The last item, as be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Financial and Administrative Services Committee meeting of November the 8th, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder, Councillor Hillier. All in favor? Aye. Contrary minded? Carried.
Thank you.
Let's bring Councillor Connors back in, please. I'm not sure if it shows up on everybody's agenda or if it's on the public, but or if folks at home can see it or not, but there's a couple of numbers in the number 6 under yours that are highlighted in yellow. And I think we had a note earlier that the yellow doesn't really mean anything. It's just that I see them in yellow highlighted here on mine, so.
Yeah, so sorry, Your Worship, the yellow has no significant
No, okay.
relevance, no.
Very good. Okay, thank you, Deputy Mayor Goss. Recommendations of the Economic Development and Tourism Committee Chair, Councillor Butler.
Thank you, Your Worship. A couple of committee notes before I read the blanket recommendation. Trailway East parking concept. The Trailway has seen increased usage year over year, and parking has been a long-standing issue for Trailway users east of Manuels River. Safety concerns related to parking on Spruce Hill Road, close to the intersection and on a turn, as well as parking in front of T-railway gates prohibiting emergency access needed to be mitigated. Parking alongside Buckingham Drive is also not an ideal long-term solution and not permitted in the winter months. Over the coming months, the town will be assessing the feasibility of developing a parking area for trail users, which would be located between Buckingham Drive and the trailway. Property owners in the immediate area will be receiving a notice in the mail advising them of our exploration of the proposed concept. Should anyone have feedback to provide, we ask that residents do so before December 3rd, 2021. A little note on our trail counts. At the end of October, trail usage along the trailway is just under 275,000. Wow. Since July 19th, the Gateway Trail has seen 11,770. Chamberlain's Park use is just shy of 23,000. And the East Coast Trail entry point at Topsail Beach has tracked just over 9,400. As always, please remember trail etiquette. Scoop after your pets, walk to the right, and if you are on a bicycle, please advise the pedestrians you are approaching on their left by way of your voice or a bicycle bell. And I neglected to mention earlier there with the Theatre CBS that staff within the Economic Development and Tourism Committee will be meeting with this group in the coming weeks to integrate them into our tourism development strategy. That's a wonderful thing. Our blanket recommendation from our meeting held on November 9th, 2021. Be it so resolved that the recommendations and decisions made at the Economic Development and Tourism Committee meeting of November 9th, 2021 be accepted as presented. So moved.
Seconder. Councillor Barrett, any discussion? All in favor? All in favor? Contrary minded? Okay, passed. Councillor Butler. Other committee reports. I believe Councillor Butler has a report. She was town's representative just recently at Municipalities, Newfoundland and Labrador conference in Corner Brook and was in attendance for a number of different things and had a couple special positions to take care of out there. So Councillor Butler.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. 4 days, very busy. As Vice Chair of MNL's Women's Caucus Committee, I was part of the Women's Leadership Summit that was held the afternoon of November 3rd. November 4th, there was numerous presentations on the go simultaneously. There was 2 and 3 going on concurrently, so couldn't go to all of them. So I picked them all out as I wanted and got information on the others. There was another Women's Caucus group committee which I attended. An interesting thing out of the Women's Caucus that I wanted to mention was the MNL Caucus Committee has agreed that there should be a mechanism for women to chat and discuss issues so that they will be looking at setting up a monthly Zoom meeting like for this kind of thing. So I'm looking forward to that happening, and that'll be for any and all councillors all across Newfoundland. It'll be a set time during each month, and you can just come on and chat and see what's happening, any issues, this kind of thing. So that's a great way to share information and discuss issues and maybe solve a few problems. The Urban Municipalities Caucus meeting was also held. I went to that. Interesting presentation on e-voting and digital governance. There was a mental health task force, communities that care. That was only half an hour. From now on, it's going to be at least an hour. Very important, and it was deemed so very quickly from all the talking that went on and the problems and discussion that was going on in the room. Update from Newfoundland Power, take charge. And to top it off, I attended the Premier's Forum where the topic was regionalization. They had to set up, there was tables where there was councillors from varying cities, towns, local service districts, and unincorporated areas strategically seated to engage a conversation on regionalization based on numbers, based on the number of questions that they had provided, and there was a facilitator that was inputting all the information, and then it was going up to the screen and was giving out all the answers and whatnot. And I was seated at a table. It was myself, a representative from Gander, a representative from Labrador, and I can't remember the other one, but it was a smaller municipality. So you can see it was 4 different populations that they had seated together, which made for a very interesting conversation when it came to regionalization. So I'm really looking forward to the Premier's Forum report, which they promised would be out fairly soon, and I'm going to send it along, of course, to everybody. And as you all know, I emailed you the same thing, and a couple of the presentations that I had received, I sent them along also. So I'm going to give this to the town clerk. But I will say, I ended up marking on it. I can't have a piece of paper in front of me without scribbling it with a pen. So I'll have to send you a clean copy, town clerk. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Councillor Butler. Are there any other committee reports this evening from anyone? Okay, if not, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment. Motion from Councillor Hillier, seconded by Councillor Moores. Thank you very much, everyone. So the next time we will be back together for a regular council meeting will be December the 7th. And if not before, for something else, you never know. So thank you for joining us this evening, and thanks, everyone, for your work over the past couple of weeks. And we'll be back around the table again